everybody. We are back. This is the Pensive Brothers podcast. This is Aaron.
And this is Elliot.
Hope everybody out there has been having a fantastical time while we've been away.
Fantastic.
We are back. It's been a minute.
A lot of stuff happening.
We've been having some technical difficulties.
Yeah.
We've been having some life changes. We've been moving around, getting our lives together.
Yeah, it's a lot of that going on.
But we're back. We're back. And we are here. And we got so many things have happened since we left, bro. Like,
it's wild.
What's going on out there, people? Like, what's going on?
People are waking up. People are figuring stuff out.
Let's hit the short notes here. First of all, we all should be very afraid that Donald Trump is going to be the first president from prison. I don't think
he's going to make it to prison, to be honest with you.
I
don't think he's going to get there.
I think he's going to get found guilty. I don't know if he's going to go to jail.
Even if I don't even think they're going to be able to find him guilty, because I think they're going to mistrial a bunch of these junks before they...
At least one of them is going to get mistrial. One of them already has been basically postponed indefinitely. So
mistrial.
W there.
Yeah.
But then...
Not for us, for Trump.
It's just bad for everybody.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
So, anyway, we all know about the craziness that's going on in Gaza. Yeah. Where Israel has basically just murdered as many people as they could. Yeah. And they're continuing to do so. Yeah.
Going so far as to, like, they're regular people. So, you can't say this is the crazy right-wing government. You can't say this is,
Well, it is a right-wing government.
Yeah, but the right-wing government aren't out there destroying the food. The right-wing government aren't out there...
destroying the food.
Yes, literally, there are regular Israeli citizens.
Oh yeah,
up on trucks.
Well, I would say
the flour and the water off the trucks.
The Israeli citizens
throwing it on the ground and stomping on it to make sure that it can't go out there to the people of Gaza. So listen,
the government is doing what the people in Israel want them to do right now. Yeah. So unfortunately for the people of Gaza,
they're kind of not
screwed.
Yeah, they don't have a lot. They don't have a lot of options.
Haley was asking me the other day, how come they don't try to leave Gaza? And I was explaining to her
that they literally are not allowed.
They can't.
There's nowhere for them to go.
So there's that.
Yeah. And
then you've also kind of got like Biden. They're afraid of the protests that are coming for his convention.
I've heard about this.
So now he's like, well, maybe we do some remote. Maybe we do short speeches and we make the convention instead of like 3 or 4 days, like 2 hours.
So we're making a Zoom convention.
Yeah, it's things are not going well. Okay, so I hope all of you beautiful people out there are planning your vacations, because when Donald Trump bans porn and bans abortion and bans life,
why do you think he would ever do that?
Have you not heard about Proposition 25?
You mean the Democratic?
No,
Republican plan.
Yeah, number 1, 2 things up there is to ban porn nationwide and to ban abortion nationwide.
Well,
You mean why would they do that?
Well, here's the interesting thing. I genuinely feel like if they follow through that plan, the fallout is going to be a lot of angry people. I don't think people appreciate the degree to which...
Angry people? When was the last time the government cared that the American people are angry?
Wait. No, you don't understand. Let me explain. So, I don't think people appreciate the degree to which more or less completely accessible marijuana products, more or less completely accessible alcohol, more or less completely accessible pornography has tamped down on a lot of the innate aggression of most of the male population in our country. Because if we didn't have those things easily and readily available... I really think a lot more people would be dying. If you notice, across the country, crime rates have fallen year over year over the last 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
A lot of that has to do with the ubiquitousness of the access to those kind of depressant sort of products in the market.
I agree.
So if you take those things away, what you're really doing is guaranteeing that people don't have any way to... ignore all of the really frustrating problems in their actual everyday lives. And I think you're going to find that violence is going to spike.
Well, allow me to throw water all over the fire of intellectual discussion you're starting here.
Well, why would you do that?
The Republicans don't care. Okay?
I mean,
they're going to ban it. They're going to do tax cuts for billionaires. And you know what's going to happen? I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to explain it to the people. I mean... What's going to happen is, if Joe Biden does not do something... or Donald Trump doesn't just get put away in these trials, Trump is going to win. The Democrats are going to tell us there was nothing they could do as the Republicans steamroll them like they did in 2016. Then, the Democrats are going to win a lot of elections in 2026. they are then going to get in power in the House and the Senate or the Senate. Then they're going to tell us there was nothing that they could do to pass anything.
I'm going to be honest.
Then Trump is going to be out of the office and he's going to probably try to not run again. But I'm telling you,
this forecast, this forecast you're giving, I think
is the exact cycle that has happened with the last 4 presidents.
Yeah, but you're talking about the future as if the craziness of the past 4 years has not happened. So you cannot look at the cycle that we've seen happen.
What is the difference between the last 4 years and the last 4 years of Obama leading through Trump? It's the exact same thing.
I mean, are you actually asking the question, or are you just
no? What I'm saying is it's the same thing.
You're saying it's the same thing, but it's not.
Okay, explain how.
Okay, so one, the amount of information people have access to through TikTok and YouTube specifically is so much higher than it was
so lucky
pre-COVID.
They're about to ban TikTok.
Wait. No, I think that's really important. Okay, so yes, they are going to try and ban TikTok, but I think
that'll get stopped in the courts, hopefully. I really do. Cause
it might get stopped in the courts, it might not. It really depends on how actually bought and sold the courts are. That is an open question. We'll really see, because the courts have made a lot of very questionable decisions in the last couple of months.
But they've also made a lot of surprising decisions, to be fair.
Here's the thing. They ruled that civil asset forfeiture was perfectly okay, even though it's absolutely not according to the Constitution. So
it's a terrible thing.
So once again,
when you name stuff like that, you guys. So civil asset forfeiture is basically
where the police can just steal your stuff. Yes.
So they are like, oh, we got this case going on, so we took all the stuff in that house, even though the case is about this thing over here. Maybe even at the house.
Well,
but they take like okay, you have like a drug dealer. They'll just take everything.
Let's be a little bit more.
They'll take everything of value.
Wait, okay. We actually have to explain it properly, because if we don't, there's some people who are not going to like the fact that we are kind of glossing over some things. So usually with civil asset forfeiture, the specific thing is they are saying they can arrest any items or property that has been used in the commission of a crime and basically confiscate it so that it can be used in a court case as evidence. And your stuff is what is actually being charged in the court case. The problem is your stuff, one, has no right to representation, and two, has no money or ability to hire a lawyer so that it can be represented properly. So now you, as a person who technically owns that stuff, have to try and advocate as a second party to the stuff that they're charging to try and get your stuff unimpounded from the police. And oftentimes there is almost zero way for you to do that, because if they decide, we're just not going to process your request to have your stuff back, you just don't get your stuff back.
That in a lot of cases, houses, they sell it, they use it, they, like in the case of money,
they just confiscate it.
Just take it and literally use it.
Just put it in the budget. They're like, hey, listen, we got a bonus this year.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think
we're veering.
We're really not. Our Constitution is very unambiguous about the fact that they can't just take your stuff. Like, you have a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And your things, specifically your house, and all of the things in it, cannot be confiscated by the government without them compensating you properly. It's literally why eminent domain is a thing, because they could say, hey, we want to build a road here, we're going to buy your house, but they have to pay you for it. Like, they have to. They have to give you fair market value. Now, they can determine that fair market value is not what it actually is, but that's a different conversation. The point is,
they're not going to use what the realtors use.
Of course not. But the point is, the government is not supposed to be able to confiscate any of your things without compensating you for it. And in the case of civil asset forfeiture, I don't know how you argue that that's anything other than them doing exactly that. But again, like you said, we are veering. The original point was the Supreme Court is not going to save you. I think that's really what people should take away. It's
arguably, none of them are going to save you. Congress isn't going to save you. We already know what the presidential
choices
we have. They're definitely not going to save you.
I think that's a super fair point. I think the only way for us to find ourselves in better situations generally is that we have to be eyes wide open about a lot of the mechanisms that are being used against us. Things that are being used on you actively. A lot of the propaganda tools. If you are aware that it's happening, it's kind of like being hypnotized or when you watch a magician. If you understand how the trick works, you can still be impressed by the skill at which a magician employs those tricks, those sleight of hand movements, the redirection of your attention while they're doing something over here. Like, you can still appreciate the artistry of the craft, but you don't think it's really magic. You don't actually not understand what's happening.
Right.
You just appreciate that that's what's happening. And I think the same thing is true for a lot of the propaganda tools and a lot of the kind of, we're just not going to talk about the things we don't want you to think about so that your attention is over here and not on the things we want it to be on. Lots of entertainment distractions lately. Did you hear about the roast with Tom Brady?
Yeah, I've been wanting to watch it. Who didn't want to watch it the other night?
I have no desire to watch roasts, to be completely honest.
Roasts are hilarious.
I'm sorry. I think they can be hilarious, but most often...
One of the funniest roasts of all time is the roast of Justin Bieber. Hilarious. What was that roast that Ann Coulter was in?
I don't know.
Ann Coulter was like a... It might have been... I think it was the roast of Peyton Manning. Ann Coulter was... Anyway. Ann Coulter was there, and her jokes are horrible. And, you know,
I mean...
if you watch a roast, each roaster roasts the other roasters,
yeah,
and then the roastee.
Yeah.
Well, everyone destroyed her, and then she got up and told terrible jokes.
I mean,
were
they all racist
like
jokes?
Some of them were, yes.
They
were calling her like a Klansman and all type of stuff. It was hilarious. But when she got up, her jokes were like Dave Rubin type bad.
Here's the problem. Did you see this interview with her lately?
Yes.
Okay, so just to catch anybody up who does not care about Republican politics, because you probably shouldn't.
And I'm going to add this in on TikTok.
Yeah,
so
I mean, most of the people who are watching this don't care about Vivek Ramaswamy or Ann Coulter, like, in general. But this was actually pretty interesting because I think it kind of illustrates a phenomenon you kind of see sometimes with non-black people, or even sometimes black people. I think about, like, Candace Owens is a person that comes to mind, where they have really absorb this idea that, listen, skin color doesn't matter, racism isn't really a problem, it doesn't affect the real world.
We've evolved so much as a nation.
Yeah,
you don't have to worry about
racism isn't a problem. And then you encounter a person like Ann Coulter who will tell you to your face, hey, listen, you know, I actually agree with you more than I agree with Trump. I like all your policies, I believe everything you're saying, but, you know, you're Indian, and I kind of can't vote for you because you're Indian. Which is super racist. I mean,
she literally said,
with a straight face, into a camera.
I agree with you more
than Donald Trump,
than the other candidates.
Yes.
But I could never vote for you because you're Indian. And he told her, well, I appreciate you for saying that. So he went on Patrick Bet-David yesterday. Mm-hmm. This is Vivek Ramaswamy, or as he's better known, Ramasalami. And he basically told them...
call him Ramasalami.
I know. But
you just made that up?
I'm bringing that back.
Good job.
So,
okay, yeah.
So I'm
hashtag Ramaswamy.
So... we really Ramaswamy, but anyway.
Yeah.
So he went on Patrick Bet-David, and Vivek Ramaswamy is the guy that was running for president.
Yeah.
So
he lost.
He went on the show, and he said, he asked him, how many people do you think hold that opinion in America? That's what they asked Vivek. And he said, more people than I originally thought. And I think that was an interesting discussion, considering he was the one saying that he's never met a white supremacist, and he's like, he doesn't think that they're real. Well, sir... You got a big old spoonful of what's real and what's not.
Here's the amazing thing about that interaction. That's not the first time that he's heard that. You know how I know that's not the first time that he's heard that?
He was running in the Republican Party.
Nope.
It's the same thing I said about Ted Cruz.
No.
I don't care how white you act. They are going to tell you that.
No, that's not the problem. The problem is he heard that from his Indian friends.
That they're never going to vote for you?
No. Sagar from Breaking Points, okay, another conservative Indian man, told him, hey, listen, bro, we're friends. I like you. I think you're making really good points. But you're not going to win a Republican election.
It's not happening.
Because they don't vote for brown people. They don't like ethnic people. Like, as a collective. It's not, most individual conservative people are probably not actively, vehemently racist. Now, they might have some other stuff going on where it's undercover, or they got, like, weird vibes, or they say really slick things and don't realize it. Like, those things probably still happen. But, like, the average, white person you run into on the street probably isn't like, I hate black people. Like, that's probably not their bag. But if you, put a brown guy up...
Do they want you... So...
To be elected...
I don't think... I personally don't separate it that hard. Because, like, I don't think that all white people would say... I'm not going to vote for a person that's not white. No, I don't think that.
They would have more tax.
But what I'm saying is specifically in the Republican Party, the Republican voters, when they see non-white candidates, I think that there is a level of unease there that no matter how much they agree with you, ask Tim Scott, ask Bobby Jindal, ask Vivek, right? To be honest with you, ask Nikki Haley.
Well,
I think ask Ted Cruz. Ask Marco Rubio. Like when I look at these guys and women, there is, I think as a party they need to kind of come to grips with that, because it's almost like they're more offended at the idea of you calling that racist than actually being racist.
Well, but here's the problem, okay? You're saying they need to come to grips with it as a party. But coming to grips with it would include admitting that this is a thing that exists.
Happening, yeah.
And as soon as you admit that it exists, you have already lost the conversational battle, because nobody wants to be racist. So if you admit, hey, it's kind of weird that we are all pretty uneasy about anybody that's not pasty white actually winning,
and not just white, but white.
Like white, like we want. Right? No.
Our version.
Right? You can't be a white person who thinks like, you know, people should have rights and we shouldn't just bomb people in other countries and all those sorts. No. You need to be our specific brand of angry white. Otherwise,
angry, scared.
Sure,
white.
I mean, some of them are scared. Some of them are just, you know, a little psychopathic.
No, what I'm saying is, I think a big determining, of both parties in a lot of ways, but a big determinative factor of what they do. You know, you've heard about the fear mongering part.
A la Lindsey Graham. That's right.
Right, where basically what they do is they rile up their base. Like if you ever watch the Republican National Convention at the presidential election time, you watch the speeches that they give. I watch them all the time.
You're about to make me both sides of this.
No, I know, but you heard me say a second ago. I said both parties.
Oh, okay.
But
I didn't
specifically, we're talking about the Republican Party right now. There is an element of scaring, to be honest with you, older white people. They're afraid of the immigrants. They're afraid of the Muslims. They're afraid, honestly, of the black president. Like there's a thing where they try to rile them up into being afraid of everything.
Why do you think that that's a Republican? Like you're saying both parties, but the way you're framing this.
Well, I don't think because I don't think that the things that they're trying to make them afraid of are valid in most cases. Where I think when you look at the Democratic Party, if they're telling you, hey, the Republicans want to infringe on your right to an abortion, your right to vote, I think that is real. But if I tell you that there's caravans of Mexican people every election cycle, even though sometimes there are, like a major issue, but like under Obama, for example, going towards Trump's election.
Yeah, but I think my problem with the way that you're framing this is you're saying that the problems that the Democrats are discussing about the Republicans are more real than the problems that the Republicans are discussing. I would argue that, no, the Democrats are discussing problems with the Republicans that they absolutely do not want to change, because then they wouldn't be able to ignore the problems that we actually want them to do something about. Because if they can complain about how the Republicans want to take your rights and how that's what they need to fight against, they never have to talk about how they want to take your rights, and they don't want to talk about that. So, like, there is nothing that has happened under a Republican administration that has not also happened under a Democratic administration. Not a single thing. Name one.
Like the outward attack on certain rights.
Like what?
Like your right to vote.
That hasn't happened under a Democratic administration?
Which Democratic administration?
Under Obama.
Obama tried to stop whose right to vote? When?
He tried to stop everybody from being able to vote for Bernie Sanders. What do you mean?
He tried to stop them?
Yeah, as the leader of the Democratic Party, yes.
How did he try to stop them?
As the leader of the Democratic Party, he made sure that it was very, very difficult for Bernie to win, and then he gave Hillary.
Oh yeah, the party did that.
The party did that. You're doing okay. So you're saying the party is not in a vacuum. It exists in the context of the administration.
That's fair. I think.
And the Democrats
that's a fair point.
They actively campaign to make sure there's no third parties on ballots. They actively campaign to make sure.
But that's not the Democrats. That's the entire power structure. That's not just them.
Okay.
The third party piece.
You keep you're moving the pieces.
No, I'm not. I'm agreeing with you.
And I'm saying,
because your original point was it's not the Republicans doing it, it's both parties doing it.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is yes, but when you talk about the third party thing, that's not the Democrats. That's them. That's both.
It's not both, actually. It's not. The Republicans do not go after third parties to the same degree that the Democrats do. I'll tell you why.
Are you serious?
Yes, actually.
Have you not seen what they're doing to RFK right now?
Yeah, but what they're doing to RFK is not what they do to the Libertarians.
No, they don't allow the Libertarians the same way that the Democrats don't allow the Greens.
Hold on.
That's the difference.
Because the Republicans never go after the Libertarians, and I'll tell you why. But the Republicans never go after the Libertarians the same way that the Democrats go after the Green Party.
Oh, that's true. That is true.
But the reason is
not the same level, but they definitely go.
No. It's not the same at all. They're not. You're saying not the same level. It's not the same. I'll tell you why. The reason is the Libertarians have real money behind them. Mm-hmm. So Libertarians have lawyers and the ability to fight in the courts to a degree that other third parties do not have. Mm-hmm. So, like, the Republicans literally cannot. If they could, they probably would try it. But they literally cannot go after the libertarians in the same way. So instead, they just try and fight on the basis of, A, those libertarians are crazy, none of their ideas are real.
Well, that's technically true.
Of course,
but no, I see your point.
The Democrats, their job in the uniparty model is to make sure that nobody on the left can actually interrupt the business-making scheme. The Republicans' job is to be the boogeyman. Because it's all kayfabe. It's all fake.
Yeah, because we talked a couple weeks ago about the good cop, bad cop element.
And they're playing off of each other.
And what's crazy is, I almost feel like you think that the Democrats are the bad cop.
I don't think the Democrats are the bad cop. I think the Democrats are genuinely smarter. Like, the people who are operating a lot of the Democratic apparatuses mm-hmm. are legitimately more intelligent and more connected than a lot of the people who are operating, at least in public, the Republican apparatuses.
Well, how much of that do you think? Because, like, when I look at this Republican Party that we have now, you know that they don't like Trump. How much of that do you think is they're not as smart as the Democrats, or they're just getting in line because Trump will destroy them?
Absolutely not. No, they're just not. They're not. They are not actually smart enough to figure out a way around Trump, because I think Trump is really easy to beat. You just have to actually provide people with the things they're asking for.
I feel like it's so easy to do.
Well, of course.
Like, the fact that Biden isn't up 20, like Kyle Kalinske made this point yesterday. The fact that Biden's not up 20 should be the saddest part of the entire election.
It's not sad because it's on purpose.
No, I know. But you remember during 2016, my main point, and I argued this with Dad, was that why is it the Democratic Party's goal to be 1% better than the Republicans?
Well,
that was the argument that Dad and I used to have, where he's like, no, the Democrats are better. And I'm like, I don't think that the Republicans and the Democrats are quite equal, but it's almost like Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, those type of people, they're like, hey, we can't be good. We don't want to be like racist monsters like Trump, but like, no, we can't be good. We have to suck.
The way you keep talking about this is you keep trying to basically say, no, they're not colluding with the Republicans and saying, hey, we're really glad you guys are being racist. Definitely make sure you're doing that. And I think that's exactly what happens.
You think Hillary Clinton told Donald Trump, be racist?
I think Hillary Clinton talks to lots of other people who aren't Donald Trump, because I think she genuinely doesn't like Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump has said
he said a lot of terrible
really things. Awful things about her in public.
I mean, he did tell her it's her fault that her husband cheated on her, which is why.
I mean,
like, which is crazy. It's crazy, right?
Here's the thing. He might know.
I mean, to be fair, they both were at the island.
And they hung out a lot. So, if anybody would know.
And if anybody knows anything about cheating on their wife, it would be Donald Trump.
Oh, okay. I was like,
you know what I'm saying?
Where are you going with that?
No, I'm saying. I mean, Donald Trump was like, cheat on your wife.
Yeah, he was a prolific. Like, he did it like 4 times.
Like,
he got 4 different wives and cheated on all of them.
Right now.
How you get married so many times and you still cheating on your wife? Like, bro, you've had 4 wives and you still got to go get some strange? That's wild to me.
What's crazy to me is, who talks about wanting to have sex with their daughter? Like, who does that?
Well,
who does that? He said in the Stormy Daniels case, they said that he told her. She said that he told her. She physically reminds him of his daughter or something. I mean, to that effect.
Speaking of weird things to say on a mic, I mean, who says that a high school is like a strip club parking lot? Drake, actually.
Oh, that's a terrible, weird thing to say.
I agree.
Where did he say that?
On a song. I can't remember the exact song. Oh. It was on his Take Care album. I'm almost certain. But yeah, no, it's a super weird thing. And what you'll notice, actually,
it's a really good album, though.
I don't know about that, but what you'll notice.
No, you do know. It was a good album. But continue with your story.
What you'll notice is a lot of times there are a lot of people who find themselves being very, very wealthy who say these very weird things in public. So, like, over and over and over again, I am noticing that there are a lot of people who are moving, like, super weird. I'll give you an instance. For instance. So, at the roast of Tom Brady, I did not watch it, but I've seen clips and I've seen some discussion about some of the jokes that were told. One of the jokes was told by this guy, Jeff Ross, and he's at pretty much every roast. It seems like that's the only thing he does, to be honest.
No, that was his thing on Comedy Central. Was he was the roast they guy. Had a roast like series.
Yeah, and he was like the guy on all of them. Yes, yeah. I do. Yeah, that's what
now it's Kevin Hart kind of going to him and hosting him.
Maybe I don't know. It does, to me,
I'm telling you, it is.
Once again, I think the roast is trash entertainment. I always have.
Totally disagree.
I know, but you enjoy meanness for meanness sake to a degree that I just don't think I do.
What?
That's what I feel like.
I do not enjoy meanness for meanness sake. I think the jokes are funny.
Okay.
Because the whole point of a roast is kind of to get joked on and to joke on others.
So I think the problem is there are jokes. There are jokes.
Some of the jokes be OD though.
That's what I'm saying. So there are jokes that you can make about a person that only affect that person, and then there's jokes that you make about a person that kind of do all of this splash damage for all of these other people. And a lot of times people will use the veneer of comedy to say things that are just kind of mean-spirited. Yeah. You're saying over the top. I'm saying there is no spirit of comedy behind some of the jokes. They're just mean things to say about someone. So to me, comedy should always have a witty observation that is layered in some way. That's what makes it actual comedy. And again, this is my opinion. So obviously other people are free to disagree, and I don't fault anybody for disagreeing. But if it's not layered, if there's not like a little bit of peeking behind the curtain you have to do to really understand why something is funny, because it's an observation or it's a statement that's coming at something from an angle that you would never normally come at it. If you're just saying ha ha black people, or ha ha Asians, some of the jokes on the roast are ha ha he's really black, or ha ha he's really dumb, or ha ha he's really tall. Like these are the sorts of jokes that
I think that's an overly simplistic version of what the jokes are.
I mean,
I get it. I get the point.
My point is,
I get it. No,
these
are
there are a lot of
lowbrow comedy. I got it. Yeah,
that's my point.
Yeah.
So, but again, back to my original point.
Yeah, go ahead.
Which is weird people saying weird things in public. They made a joke, Jeff Ross did, about how Tom Brady had a meeting with now I can't remember the guy's name. The weird guy who got caught up in the massage parlor scams. He's a team owner. Is it Goodell? I don't think it's Roger Goodell. Maybe. Okay,
so a team owner that got caught up in that scandal.
Got caught up in the massage parlor scandal from like last year, before.
He was getting a happy ending or something?
So the joke was he went into the office and he said, "I'm the best investment you've ever made. Would you like a massage?" And immediately, it was kind of funny. So Tom Brady gets up and says, "Hey, bro, that was too far," and like walks back and sits down.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Now, it's interesting to me that he said that, because why would that joke be too far?
Because maybe it was a very difficult time for the team. I don't know.
Or because he really did have to give some massages he didn't feel comfortable giving.
Who, Tom Brady?
Yeah. And some other people. Because that guy hangs out a lot with Diddy and Meek Mill. Okay. Two other people who've said some really weird things in public.
Diddy has said some weird things.
So again, you will find a lot of these entertainment guys, not your regular run-of-the-mill. Like, I've never heard Keanu Reeves say anything that was like weird and sus. But if you make a lot of money,
yeah,
and you're like, I'm the richest guy, I got a Bentley, I got a huge house, yada yada.
Well, to me,
you also end up saying a lot of weird things. It's weird to me.
That's true.
Like, even in the context of a rap beef, like, one of the things that I found really interesting about the whole Kendrick rap beef thing is a lot of people were like, oh, it's just hip hop. But like, it's not just hip hop if there is facts of the matter. See, when we're talking about the roast, and we're making jokes about somebody, if those jokes are lighthearted and they don't have implications outside of the roast, I think that's fine. If we're having a rap beef, and the things I'm saying about you, oh, your raps are trash, you're not really from where you say you're from, you don't even love your mama for real, whatever, right? If these things only implicate the person, and they don't implicate other people, or other groups, or other structures, that can stay hip-hop, that can stay in the context of that rap beef. But it's weird to me how Kendrick is saying, hey, you go after young girls in a way that's really weird, and you do it a lot, and everybody around you is also into some really weird stuff, and you are kind of implicated and caught up in all of the stuff that we know that goes on at the Diddy parties, and at the Epstein Island, and a bunch of these other things. And
Epstein. Okay.
Well,
all right, well, continue.
So when somebody is associating you with those kinds of things, like, that's not hip-hop anymore, because now we're like, we actually should probably look into that. We should figure out, are you into weird parties? Are you having people come to your hotel room and do things who are underage? Are you grooming people? Are you like having inappropriate relationships with people before they're 18 so that once they turn 18, now y'all can have an appropriate relationship? Like,
right.
These are all things that are like documented and discussed outside of the context of this beef that have been talked about for years. I've been kind of weird on Drake for a while because like I had heard inklings and I just kind of was like, he's all right. But then this beef happens and I kind of start to see how this is just connected to a bunch of other things. Mm-hmm. Because it is really weird to me how often, like, while really terrible stuff is happening, we get really big entertainment items. So the Met Gala happened, the roast happened, the rat beef happened, and also Congress passed a bunch of laws that were absolute BS, including that anti-Semitism law.
I saw that. Oh, it's such an assault on free speech.
It is. And it's very interesting.
Like, basically, the law is saying it basically creates a definition of what anti-Semitism is that's so broad.
Well, it specifically references a specific law that was created to be broad.
Right.
And they even wrote in the document they're referencing, hey, please do not use this as a legal definition because it's too broad.
Right.
But they use it as one anyway.
Yeah.
Because the whole point is to make it as broad as possible. So
they're trying to make it illegal to talk about Israel.
I mean,
to say things that they don't agree with. That's really what it
is. It's not even to talk about Israel. They want to make it illegal to say things
to criticize.
They don't want you to say
the things they don't want you to criticize.
Correct.
Which goes completely against the First Amendment. Like, it's crazy.
But this just goes back to the TikTok ban and a bunch of other things that are happening right now.
Which is crazy, because I'm gonna have to cut you off here. It's crazy that all of the problems we actually are having, you know, this I was telling Hilly the other day, all the stuff that's actually happening that we need help with. Student loans are out of control. We don't have universal health care. We don't have paid family leave. Wages are not keeping up with inflation. The cost of a house right now is ridiculous. Like, we have actual problems. But instead of solving any of that, the government right now is arguing over whether to ban TikTok. And the Republicans are trying to get Biden impeached again for the 8th time with no evidence.
Wait, who's trying to do that?
The Republicans.
Why do you say it's just the Republicans?
Because they're the ones that keep
filing the articles. Who's the Speaker of the House?
Mike Johnson.
Who helped make sure that Mike Johnson got to stay there?
The idiot Democrats.
So it's not the Republicans trying to impeach Biden, because
yes, it is. Which Democrats signed up to the articles of impeachment? Let's start there. Name them.
Before you get to the articles of impeachment, which Democrat?
Elliot, you don't need the majority to file the articles. That doesn't mean that they're going to pass.
You're veering outside of the point that I'm trying to make.
I'm saying that the both parties are trying to ban TikTok. Yes. The Republicans are trying to pass another giant round of tax cuts for billionaires. And, man, if you guys haven't read this Proposition 25 thing, is that what it's called?
It's not called Proposition 25.
Called?
It's called Project 2025.
Project 2025.
Yes.
If you haven't read it, like...
Here's the problem,
like,
okay?
It's just as bad as the Democrats, but, like, it's terrible.
Here's the problem.
Everything in it is worse than the last thing you read.
I agree, but I don't think Project 2025 is the thing we need to focus on.
It is, because Trump's going to win. That's why.
Okay, but you keep focusing in on it. And this is the argument that we're going to have literally right up until November. Okay?
And then when Trump wins and Project 2025 starts happening,
we're still going to be having the same argument because I'll still be right.
Right, that Republicans aren't doing it, we shouldn't be worried?
That the Democrats are the reason the Republicans get to enact Project 2025.
No, I'm not saying that the Democrats are not helping the Republicans do the things that they're doing. I'm saying is, the Republicans are the ones that are pushing it. When the Democrats tell us that there's nothing that they can do, and they allow the Republicans to steamroll us, who is steamrolling us?
Okay.
It's still the Republicans,
Here's the problem. If I hire a guy to come to your house every day, and right as you get in your car, right before you get in, he punches you in the face.
Right.
Is the guy who's punching you in the face the bad guy?
Well, when you say hire the guy, the Democrats are not hiring the Republicans.
Once again, I don't understand how that can possibly be true. Because let me explain why I
mean, it's like you want to tell me that the Democrats are at fault that the Republicans are doing something.
I want to tell you that the Democrats have all of the capability of preventing the Republicans from doing...
No, I agree.
Okay, so wait a minute. Here's my problem. If I'm a police officer and I'm standing in front of a bank that's being robbed, and I don't stop the bank robber, and on his way out the door he hands me a $100 bill, was I a part of that bank robbery?
The Republicans are not metaphorically handing the Democrats a $100 bill.
How can you say that when all of the Democrats get jobs from Republicans just like they do from other Democrats?
What do you mean from Republicans?
I mean, when Republican administrations take over, they hire Democrats.
Which Democrats were in Trump's administration? Which one? Name any of them. I can tell you the Republicans that get into Democratic administrations.
Okay.
But in Trump's administration, Which Democrat?
I don't mean Trump's administration in particular, because Trump in particular is a very special case. He was specifically trying to do a bunch of things that the Republican Party was not trying to do. You understand the difference?
No, it was not.
When we're
Trump was not trying to do a bunch of things.
I need you to walk down this path with me, okay? So when Trump came into office, Trump's whole thing was, I want to make government non-functional, okay?
That's been the Republican plan since Ronald Reagan, and you know that.
No. The Republicans want to make government non-functional so that they can profit off of it. Wait.
I'm waiting.
Trump wants to make government non-functional so that he can profit off of it, and it's very different, because the way that you make government non-functional in a Republican administration normally is you give it all of the veneer of being functional. You hire all the same people that anybody else who was trying to make the government functional would hire.
That's so crazy you're saying this.
Okay.
Trump brought in John Bolton.
Yes.
And he brought all of those people from Bush's administration to make it look functional.
Right.
And then they destroyed every single organization that they could, and then they did tax cuts for the wealthy. Yes. They stopped the wage increases. They literally made everything worse.
Okay.
But they did everything that you're naming. You're saying that he's different.
No. The reason I'm saying he's different is because Trump did it in a way that he wanted to do it. I need you to understand what I'm saying here. You are trying to say Trump. If you just,
I'm listening. Go ahead.
Trump is special only insofar as Trump only cares about Trump. Other Republicans don't only care about, like George Bush didn't only make himself rich. George Bush made the whole apparatus that brought a George Bush into existence as the president. He made that whole apparatus rich. All his buddies got rich. All his friends got rich. All his dad's buddies got rich.
All George W. Bush style Republicans are gone, right?
Yeah. And
they're all gone.
So I need you to...
all we have left is the Trump version.
Wait. They're not all gone. That's what I'm trying to say, okay? You're saying they're all gone. I'm saying they're not gone. They're working for Democrats. So a Mike Johnson can only continue to be Speaker of the House and pass tax cuts, try and pass TikTok ban bills, try and pass anti-Semitism bills that don't make any sense.
So is Mike Johnson at fault for that, or is it just the Democrats' fault?
Of course Mike Johnson is at fault for that.
Because it sounds like you're saying the Democrats empowered him to do
it,
so it's all their fault.
No. I'm saying just like I hold a police officer who doesn't stop a bank robbery more responsible than I hold a bank robber is going to rob a bank. He's going to rob a bank 100% of the time.
Okay.
He's going to rob the bank because he's a bank robber.
And that's the thing.
I don't want police helping bank robbers. And if you don't...
I agree with your point more than you understand. Because
why do you not want to fight the police helping the bank robbers? If we fix the police helping the bank robbers can't keep robbing banks. Because then the police are going to stop them. But we literally don't have anybody to stop them.
Because the mechanism that you want to use to fight the police is not, in my personal opinion, going to stop anything. It's
what mechanism do you think I want to use?
You're trying to get everybody to vote for RFK, which is also bad.
Here's the...
so what I think is going to happen in that scenario is you're going to allow the bank robbers to now become the police. That's my point.
I guess my question is, how is voting for the Democrats going to keep the bank robbers from becoming the police?
I don't think that it will.
Okay, so what?
The entire point that I'm making here is I would rather the police still be the police and then fight the police.
That makes no sense. Okay, so...
Because I don't want the bank robbers in charge.
Okay.
But it's almost like you're like, well, either we're going to get equally bad bank robbers or we're going to get the bank robbers, but the police got to go. No. Because the police are the problem.
Once again, my point is, if the police are helping the bank robbers anyway, they both need to go.
I agree, but I don't think we're in a situation where we have that option.
The reason we're in a situation where we don't have that option is because you, a person I think is, really intelligent and has access
to a bank robber.
And this is my problem. I have not heard a single Democrat talk about regenerative farming. Do you even know what that is?
I don't care. I want universal health care, and I want a president that is going to stop the wars. I don't care about this anti-vax, pro-Israel bombing innocent civilians guy over here who's probably going to lose. He's going to lose.
I guess the frustrating thing for me oftentimes is the issues that RFK is different than your standard Democrat on are so consequential.
To me, yes.
No.
No, to me, I think that the things that he differs from the average Democratic politician on, I think are so important. I don't want a president that is telling people not to take vaccines.
Okay, stop.
I'm not comfortable with that.
We're going to have this argument right now. When did he say don't take vaccines?
His entire career, Elliot.
What did he say specifically?
He says that all the vaccines are not safe. I've heard him say it 1,000 times.
Have you actually checked his notes?
Yes.
Okay.
I've checked them.
I want
Elliot.
We're going to have the argument. No. We're going to have the argument. Okay. You tell me why vaccines are safe.
Do you have polio?
No.
Do you have the mumps? Do you have measles?
Nope, I do not.
You know why?
Yeah.
It's because the vaccines that have been implemented in the country largely have protected us from those diseases.
Let me ask you a different question.
Okay.
Why is cancer so hot right now? Why do so many people have cancer?
Why do people have cancer?
Why? No. Wait. Hold on. Don't put words in my mouth. Why?
You just said why so many people have cancer.
So many cancer is way bigger a problem now than it has ever been.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because it's a disease. I mean, I'm not a doctor.
See, I know.
And I guess that's the difference between me and you. See, what you do is you pretend that RFK is a doctor and say, RFK said that all the vaccines aren't working. And so you're saying that people have you're implying that cancer is big because people are taking the vaccines, right?
I'm not implying anything.
Okay, what are you implying?
This is kind of the problem.
How do people have cancer connected to getting a COVID shot? How is that connected?
Here's the problem.
Why'd you even bring that up?
I'll tell you if you actually let me answer any of the questions you're asking.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
The reason that those things are connected is because we have a government who refuses to allow anyone to study the answer to that question. Now, what my frustration with...
Study what?
Hold on.
Study what?
I let you talk.
No, study what? I need to know.
I'm gonna answer the question, but you gotta actually let me speak in the way that I'm speaking.
I just need you to be clear.
I'm going to be clear.
Refuses to allow people to study what?
They refuse to allow people to study why is there so much cancer right now. Now wait, hold on.
I didn't say anything.
There was a guy named Dr. Sebi a bunch of years ago who had all of this documentation about how a lot of cancer is specifically caused by diet and is specifically caused by carcinogens in our environment. And he said, if you change your diet, a lot of times you can cure a lot of cancers that you have. Because,
I don't agree with that.
Because specifically, a lot of cancers are caused by things that are in the food.
Yeah.
Do you know that the NIH will not allow anyone to study if the things in the food are causing cancer?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they let people study that, Aaron?
Do you know why?
I'm asking.
Because they're purchased by the Food and Drug Administration.
So now.
Food and Drug industry.
So now. We're going to go back to where we started, which is, of the people who are running for the election right now, only one of them says, hey, it's kind of a problem that our Food and Drug Administration is bought and owned by the people they're supposed to be regulating. Who else is saying that?
No one. Well, not in the presidential race.
Okay.
Other people are. So
let me, for the people, let me try and explain to you why I think everything you say, it makes no sense. It doesn't logically track to me when it comes to RFK. I am not a single issue voter. Okay?
Right. Neither am I.
The reason that I think RFK is better than voting for Biden is because if we get an RFK and he does one thing in his administration, just one, and he goes to the NIH and says, we're not doing any more studying of biological weapons or viruses. We're going to give that a break. We are specifically and only going to study what is in our food and why is it making people sick, what is in our water and why is it making people sick. If he did that, the information that we would get would have to fundamentally change the way corporations operate in our country because they would be forced to admit that they are systematically poisoning people collaboratively so that they can all make money.
Okay.
That will cause all of these other systems to immediately fail. Insurance will have to be restructured because you cannot have insurance companies who have been colluding with food companies and Medicare companies and drug companies to continue to keep people sick if it's exposed that they're all in on it. You just can't do that because people will just say, you know what? I'm just not going to buy General Mills. I'm not going to buy XYZ because the government actually did some studies and they're telling us that their food is poison. I need to get food from my local farmer's market, or I need to get food from the guy who has a food garden, who's just selling tomatoes that he's growing with no pesticides and no weird stuff in the food, and it's a tomato. He grew the tomato from a tomato seed, and now he's handing me a tomato. There's nothing else in it. When you allow the government to do the bare bones things that we actually want the government to do, which is study problems that other people don't have the time or money to study, you will find all of these other huge systems of oppression just don't have the momentum to keep themselves afloat. That's why we have to keep bailing out the banks. That's why we have to keep bailing out all of these huge companies, because they're only built on momentum and nothing else. I'm saying, if we know the Democrats, as they are configured right now, are terrible and they don't work, and we know the Republicans, for all the reasons you have outlined, are the real boogeyman that the Democrats are making them out to be, if you vote for the other guy, who at least will put a monkey wrench in that system for 4 years, let's say you just encourage people, listen, at this point, we kind of hate both options anyway, so why not vote for RFK? Now, I'm going to put a pin in that and say, the reason we vote for RFK is not because we like RFK. It's the same reason why I wouldn't vote for Hillary Clinton. I didn't vote for Jill Stein because I like Jill Stein that much. I think Jill Stein makes a lot of good points. I think she has a lot of good policies, but I also do not see her as a very good leader. She has a lot of internal strife in every campaign she's ever run. Yeah. She has a lot of internal strife in her party because I don't think she inspires the kind of leadership that you actually need in a president. RFK does, for good or for ill. The people who listen to him speak actually believe the things he's saying. He is compelling, even with his jacked up voice. His voice sounds horrible, okay? But if you listen to the words he's speaking, if you actually listen to the speeches that he gives, the words, if you turn the sound off and just read the subtitles of a speech that he gives, you will, no, seriously, you really should do that. Like,
his voice is horrible.
If his voice really is like the
but
thing
my point is.
Yeah. So what I just said,
I don't, not so I don't disagree with most of what you're saying. I don't disagree with that. I actually think that those are good things.
Okay.
It's hard for me to believe that he's actually going to do any of that.
Can I ask you why? What about his history and his story makes you think that he wouldn't go to the government and change it in just that way? Like, let's say he doesn't do anything else the whole time he's president.
I don't know.
He has specific control over the NIA. Over the NIA.
I think, and maybe it's because I've been blackpilled so hard.
I think that's the problem. But yes, keep talking.
That I recognize that the government's not going to do anything. And I think of, like, let's even talk about Trump. Trump came in, had all this nonsense.
Can I have you qualify something before you talk about Trump? When you say the government's not going to do anything, what do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is the power structures are not going to allow for him to do that. That's what I mean. Now, do I think I wish we could just like take the good parts out of these idiots and make a super candidate that would do something about that, and then we could have like Biden do like the student loan forgiveness, and like all the candidates are just so bad. But they're so bad. I view RFK and Trump and Biden as bad. Just because this dude, man,
I need you to.
My biggest issue in this election, for real, is all of the things that I want out of a president, I get out of none of them. Right? 2, you have the whole issue with Israel, and I know for a fact that Trump will be worse than Biden, and RFK, in my personal opinion, will be either equal to Biden or worse.
Okay.
And so then when the issues that I actually care about, like, yes, do I think that the health and the food is a problem? Of course it is.
So, my question is about pragmatism now. I can't believe I'm in this position, but how do you get... No, it's obviously not, because you're not thinking about...
I just don't think that... I don't think that RFK is going to have the political capital to make the changes that you're suggesting.
What changes... I feel like... What political capital does he need to change with NIH studies? That's what I'm asking you.
I'm not saying he's not going to be able to change what they study.
No, okay.
But what I'm saying is, okay, they put the study out.
Yes.
You think Congress is going to just allow...
No, of course
RFK to just make changes to the standards of what the food is? No, they're going to literally take...
How can they stop it?
Because they're going to do the same thing they're doing right now with the airlines. Biden put out that rule saying that airlines have to refund you if they delay your flight by a certain amount of money. And Congress right now is trying to pass a bill.
What happened to that bill when they tried to pass it with all the voice building it?
No, it hasn't finished. They just started it 3 weeks ago. Hold on,
because that bill has had 3 iterations that were released publicly, and they had to roll them back because they were so egregiously written.
No, but that's my point.
Okay, wait,
that's my
hold on.
Point.
So what I want to talk about right now is
we gotta wrap this up.
I'm sure. I mean,
I know we've been going for a long time.
No, not that long. You'll be all right. You are letting your disappointment in the 2 times that Bernie lost, and your disappointment with how atrocious Biden has turned out to be, you are letting that kind of blackpill you into.
No, I'm
no wait. Let
me
finish my sentence.
No, I'm saying
finish my sentence.
No, I'm saying
let me finish. You're interrupting the middle of a sentence, and it's really important that you let me finish.
That you're connecting.
You don't
my
even
disappointment
understand
with
what I'm saying.
No,
so you can't say I'm connecting anything.
No, you just said. You
started to talk in the middle of a sentence. I'm not going to let you finish another statement.
What you're saying is not true.
No, it doesn't matter. You don't know if it's true because you didn't let me finish the sentence.
If
I say it's dark outside at night and you stop me at it's dark outside and say it's not dark outside, the sun's out. You don't know what I was going to say.
That's not what you said.
You don't know what I'm going to say. So you're going to let me finish the sentence? Okay, thank you. See, it would have been so much faster.
Okay, just say it. What are you saying? Jesus Christ.
You have let yourself be blackpilled into saying that there is no solution that gets me from where we are to where we need to be. Wait!
I didn't even say anything.
Because you were preparing to say
something. No, I wasn't.
All right. I'm asking you, if you don't like what Biden is doing, and you know Trump is going to be worse, there is no path that voting for Biden provides you that will get you from how bad Biden is to somebody who's better than Biden. There's zero path. I'm saying I'm laying out specifically and articulately a path that voting for RFK will get you from where we are to a place where you want to be. Now, I understand that in your mind, you're like, well, I mean, he's not going to get anything substantial done. And I can understand if he loses.
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay. If you're convinced that he is going to lose, there's zero chance of him winning.
That's also not what I'm saying. I don't think that he's going to win.
If you don't think that there's zero chance of him winning, I'm asking you, what do you personally lose for voting for him?
What I'm specifically saying is, one, the issues that are important to me, he does not support. Now, the whole thing about
who supports the issues that are important to you?
Oh, none of them do.
So why is voting for him? What do you lose by voting for him?
He's literally polling in third place. So why would I vote for the guy that's literally losing?
Biden is polling in second place, and by a lot. What do you lose by voting for him?
He's not polling in second place by a lot.
It's 10 points.
No,
in
the combination.
July,
no, in the combination of the polls. In the combination of the polls,
it's 10 points on average. What are you talking about?
Okay,
he's losing by 10 points on average on the RCP right now.
Not on average. No,
yes, on average.
Because in some of the polls he's up.
In some of the polls he's up by 1%.
That's what I'm saying.
And in some of the polls he's down by 13%.
Yes.
So the average of that would be something like 10%.
No, that's not the average. And the average, they're basically neck and neck right now.
No, on the average, when RFK is included, Biden loses handily, consistently.
My point is,
and RFK is going to be on the ballot in those places.
If I'm going to vote third party, I need a person that is third party that has policies that I agree with.
Okay.
I don't agree with RFK's policies.
I just want to say to the people, this opinion right here is trash.
He's literally telling me that because I don't agree with RFK's policies, that's not my opinion is trash.
No, that's not my point.
He doesn't support universal health care. He doesn't support universal free college. He doesn't support forgiving student loan debt. He doesn't support ending the war in Israel. Like, what are you talking about? Why would I vote for him?
You want an answer to the question?
He's literally a corporate Democrat.
You don't want an answer to the question. Okay.
No, I'm saying.
Do you want an answer to the question?
Okay.
You ask a lot of rhetorical questions. I just want to make sure I'm answering them if you want an answer.
Why would I vote for him? Because I don't see a reason. Go ahead.
Because right now, the narrative is a third party can't win. So now, if we can just shift the narrative a little bit from a third party can't win to a third party can win, but only if they got, like the kind of racist whites on their side and the people who hate government on their side and all these extraneous factors. Okay, so now, well, a third party can win if they're popular. So maybe we get a Bernie Sanders style person who's saying all the right things. And you can't say now a third party can't win anymore because RFK won and he was doing like regular Democrat stuff, but he still won as a third party. So now we just got to find somebody. Okay, but again, he is not. What you're failing to understand is outside of the vaccine issue, which I actually think you are just painfully uninformed about what he's actually saying on the vaccine issue, and I can't get you to see it because a lot of times when you talk about vaccines, just so that people understand, the reason RFK says that vaccines are not safe is not because he thinks, if you take a vaccine, you're going to die. Though that has happened to some people. He's saying that they're not safe because in order to declare something safe, you have to have placebo-controlled trials where you can test it on large populations of people. And then you study those people over a long period of time to see what all of the outliers and all of the effects of whatever medical intervention you introduce to that person is.
What would be crazy is...
Wait.
What would be crazy
Let me finish the explanation because it's really important.
Okay.
If you don't do that, when you administer large numbers of medical interventions to people, over time, you don't actually know what things are happening, why. So if somebody is injured, let's say from mesothelioma, and you don't know what caused it, it's really hard to say, oh, well, it was asbestos, unless you have a large cohort of people who you've tested and said, hey, these people were exposed to this thing at this period of time, and we've been tracking it over a really long time, and we can point all of these people who have this specific issue, they all come back to this one point where they're exposed to this specific thing. If you're not doing that with vaccines, in general, or at all, then you can't say that they're safe. That doesn't mean that they're not like something that we should use. That doesn't mean that they're not something that people should be allowed to access and have if they choose to, but they need to be consulted and told, hey, these are the risks of the thing that you're taking. One of the things that
my whole issue with that is, one, when it came to COVID and the COVID vaccines, while he was trying to get people to not take it, we did not have time. We did not have, that's literally one of the best things that Trump did. False. One of the only things Trump did was getting the vaccine out, because now, even though Trump assured that we had the vaccine, then he didn't want people to take it. It was so
Here's the thing.
Well, no. Trump wanted people to take it. The Republicans didn't. But the fact that we are living in a relatively post-COVID world is because of the vaccine.
Again.
But,
no,
like,
hold on.
No, I'm going to finish what I'm saying. And then my whole thing with RFK.
That's my worry. What you're saying is wrong.
Which part?
All of it, actually.
We're not living in a relatively post-COVID world?
We're not.
What are you talking about?
I mean, do you actually want to know?
Can we not go outside anymore?
Of course.
Do you not remember being locked in the house?
Do you want an actual answer to any of these questions you're asking?
You're saying that the vaccine had nothing to do with that.
I am actually saying the vaccine had nothing to do
with it. You're insane.
Well,
like,
here's the problem, okay? How
am I supposed to have this conversation with you?
Because you have to arm yourself with the information that I have, and
because
then you have
at the point that why weren't we living in a post-COVID world before the vaccine?
Because where did COVID come from? That's the first question.
It probably came from the China thing.
No, not probably. It absolutely.
Well, I don't know because I'm
okay. See, this is the difference between you and me. See, I wanted a real answer to this question.
Yeah, so I started. You got online. And you
listening
a bunch of videos
to
just like I did.
People who were talking about this in depth and in detail.
You know that I think it came from there. I'm just saying. Okay. I wasn't there,
and I'm saying I don't have to be there to say with some considerable certainty that there are spike proteins that you only get when you bioengineer something on the COVID virus. The proximity of a bio-safety.
You and I don't disagree.
Okay, so I can say with pretty high certainty that COVID was created in a lab. It was created in a lab through a program that Dr. Fauci specifically bypassed.
What does that have to do with anything?
If you let me finish, I'll tell you. He bypassed a bunch of safety mechanisms to get this virus worked on. Then, right after the virus escaped, they bypassed a bunch of safety mechanisms to get a mRNA vaccine passed. mRNA vaccines were outlawed prior to Operation Warp Speed because the technology itself was not tested. The reason that the technology needed to be tested is because mRNA is just DNA that has been broken down chemically by a process. If you do not break down all the DNA, then you have rogue DNA that runs through your body and can cause all sorts of weird problems.
Okay. I can't take it anymore.
I understand.
So look, this is what we're going to do. Okay, Elliot took the vaccine. I took the vaccine.
We did.
Neither one of us died.
True.
Everyone in our entire family took the vaccine. None of us died of the vaccine.
That is also
true. But Elliot is trying to convince us that taking the vaccine was the problem. I don't understand how that happens, but what can you do? But we don't have the measles. We don't have mumps. We don't have polio because vaccines work. I'm not saying they all work all the time, but I don't think it's safe to have a leader who is trying to convince a large percentage of the population that taking medicine that doctors and scientists have said, hey, we have worked on this and this works, and then it has been proven to work,
Can I ask you a
you
question?
shouldn't take it. I think that's dangerous. Because if we didn't have the vaccine, we would still all be locked inside, and we would still all be scared of dying every week. It's crazy.
Can I ask you a serious question?
Okay, what? This is the last question, by the way.
When all the doctors were saying that smoking was good for you.
Yeah, they were lying.
Okay.
But we have proof that they were lying. There was proof then. They were sued because at the time they had scientific evidence that people were getting lung cancer specifically from smoking.
Okay.
Where's the proof that you got the COVID vaccine and you're dying of that?
Do you actually want the proof?
Yeah.
Okay. I have sent you several videos by a doctor. His name is Dr. John Campbell.
Yeah.
And
where one out of 75,000 people got sick of the vaccine, right?
Yes. Do you know how many people, 1 in 75,000 people on the planet are?
What I'm saying is, Elliot, the percentage.
You're saying that a billion
like
people...
You're nuanced trolling. You're nuanced trolling.
Here's the problem.
Because how much more likely are you to die because you smoke cigarettes every day than a person is that gets the COVID vaccine and then you die?
Do you actually know the answer to that question?
No, I'm asking you.
I don't know the answer to that question. And I'm saying, what you're saying is we don't know the answer and
No, I'm saying that the COVID vaccine is proven to work, is what I'm saying.
Who proved that?
You proved it.
How?
You took the vaccine.
Yes,
and you didn't die when you got COVID.
Was the point of the COVID vaccine to take it and not die?
No, yes. The point of the COVID vaccine was it was going to take the bite out of COVID. They told us at the time, if you get this vaccine, you still can get COVID. It's just much less likely that you will have as severe a reaction.
When's the last time you had polio? No. Seriously. When did you catch polio?
I didn't have polio.
You know why? Because you took a polio vaccine.
Elliot,
when did you catch mumps?
They were working on those vaccines for much longer.
So it's almost like if you're gonna have a vaccine that you administer
to
people,
those are not the same thing as a virus that evolves. Yeah. Polio is a disease,
which is why all of the medical people who were trying to call people's attention to the fact that you don't
medical people.
Yeah,
it was medical people that created the vaccine.
That's arguable. But
what are you talking about? I posted the lady. There was a black lady that was basically said to be the mother of the vaccine, if you will. She basically did the main research that created the vaccine. Mm-hmm. What do you mean? What is that? What are you talking about? Because she's not a medical person?
The people who fund vaccines are not medical people. Those are money people.
Those are people that have money, not the scientists and doctors in the lab.
Yeah, and the scientists and doctors in the lab
take money just like everyone else to fund the project.
And there were a lot of people who weren't making any money who were saying, hey, you know, if you release a vaccine in the middle of a pandemic, what happens is that virus has the opportunity to mutate because you're introducing a vaccine when the virus is at its most infectious. That's a really bad idea. According to all of the research,
you're saying that
according to all of the...
No, but at the time...
People were saying it at the time.
At the time, they were trying to get a grip on the virus, Elliot.
Again.
And they did.
Bro, it's so interesting. The reason that we're having this argument is because I'm saying, hey, the
people should have just kept dying. That would have been better for us. That's what it sounds like you're saying.
That's what you're hearing.
No, that's literally they created the vaccine to try to get a handle on the virus.
I mean, that's what they told you.
No, that's what they did.
No, it's not.
All right.
But again,
I'm done arguing.
I know, I understand. So I'm gonna say my piece because I think it's really important.
Okay.
The problem that I have with the way that you argue about this is you tell me what I'm saying, and then you argue with a statement that I'm not making.
That's called straw manning.
Correct. You constantly straw man the argument that I'm making. I'm not. Because what you'll do is I'll start a sentence, and then you Pierce Morgan me. Okay? You will interrupt me in the middle of my sentence, and then tell me what I'm saying. And then I say, that's not even what I'm trying to say. And then we argue about a point that I'm not trying to make for like 5 minutes. And then I try to get back to the original point that I'm actually trying to make. And then you stun lock again, and you interrupt me in the middle of a sentence. And then we veer off on another point I'm not trying to make. Because the way we started on this was RFK has never been anti-vax.
Yeah, he's been anti-vax.
Wait a minute. You said you were done arguing. Are you actually done arguing or not?
I'm just stating a fact.
You're
extremely anti-vax.
Here's the problem. For a guy who's anti-vax, he has sued a lot of companies that make vaccines and won. So I need you to I need you to just do me one favor. Before you call this man anti-vax again, because I want you to actually have the correct facts in front of you. I want you to go and look up his case against Monsanto and his case against Pfizer. I just want you to read the briefs on the cases and why he won. That's what I want. I want you to read his... He
won a legal case.
I want you to read...
What does that have to do with the COVID vaccine?
Because the expertise that you get when you have to argue about why this thing that was created was really harmful to people will give you an understanding of something.
What happened to you when you got your vaccine?
You want the actual answer? I got sick for like 2 days.
They literally, most vaccines you get sick when you first take it.
You know what happened to some other people who took the vaccine? One guy got paralyzed from the waist down.
One guy?
Wait a minute. I'm not done. Several people died of heart attacks.
Okay.
A lot of other people started having heart attacks who were like young and healthy and had no other reason to have a heart attack. Why were so many football players?
Now that we're done talking about the 1%, what happened to the other 99%?
Okay, it's not 99%. Here's the problem. Are you familiar with the VAERS system?
No, yes, I am. That is unregulated by the government, and it was proven that a lot of people were putting fake information in there to make their point.
Proven? Declared?
No. A lot of that information is unregulated. Oh my god.
So here's
all right.
Again,
I'm not arguing with this.
My problem.
Theirs is literally a system where anyone can just get in there and just type in anything.
That is true.
So how am I supposed to take that seriously? That's not peer reviewed. That's not scientific evidence of anything.
Wait, okay.
It's literally the Wikipedia of medicine.
Don't you use Wikipedia?
No, that's not you didn't learn in college that that's not a good source. Actually, because anyone can just go in there and throw anything in there.
And that was trash opinion then, and it's trash opinion now. The problem with Wikipedia isn't that people can just go in there and throw anything in there.
That's literally not true.
The problem
they changed Mike Bloomberg's Wikipedia to say that he was killed the night he debated.
Yes.
What's her name?
Yes, that's not what the problem with Wikipedia is. The problem with Wikipedia is people will use it instead of reading the baseline sources. So
you talking about fears, bro? Like that's like Candace Owens, Tommy Lahren type of debate tactic.
You see how we're doing the thing again? I just want you to notice in this conversation. Why did I bring up theirs?
Because you're trying to make a point with okay.
Ooh, I'm trying to make a point.
Okay, this has been the Pensive Brothers podcast, you guys. All right.
Okay, listen.
Y'all have a good one.
Seriously.
We love you guys.
Hold on.
I'm done arguing with him.
I know you are. I know, and we're gonna close it out. Okay, but seriously, I think it's really important that when we're talking about this, like you genuinely feel like I'm just off the conspiracy train, and I understand why
you definitely are.
You see how I'm not.
Well, just because I think it's dangerous. I think it's dangerous to try to convince a population of people, including our audience, that they shouldn't take the vaccines that have kept us safe. I think that's irresponsible, and I think it's dangerous.
Do you think that is the implication of my words, or do you think that is the intent of my words?
No, I think that is the implication of what happens when people of consequence, like RFK, go out there and they try to ambiguously walk around the edges. But basically what they're telling you is, be scared of the vaccines that have been proven to work.
You know what I hear a lot when you talk about RFK? I hear Dad talking about Bernie.
No.
I know you don't feel that way, but that's what I hear. Because when Dad talks about
Elliot, we're ending the show. Okay? We're ending the show.
I know.
We're not going into this again.
I mean, okay. But I think it's really important that you examine your thought pattern here. Because you keep like straw manning me and then suplexing the point I'm not trying to make.
I'm not straw manning you.
You are. Okay. And it's
we'll
kind of crazy.
Camera, but end the show. This has gone too far. It's gone too long.
You sure you don't want to keep going?
No, I'm sure.
Not even for the people?
Okay.
Okay, listen. All right. We're just sad because we haven't been here, and we love you guys, and we're going to make sure we're making you great content. So we're going to be back, and we're going to make sure that it's consistent this time. This has been the Pensive Brothers Podcast. I'm Elliot.
This is Aaron.
And we are out.